Once upon a time, in a posh residential garden, lived two friends, Mr. Ant and his neighbor Mr. Grasshopper. Mr. Ant was very disciplined. He didn't just live life by the clock, he lived in an old clock. His dream was to renovate his run-down clock and turn it into a condominium with a terrace swimming pool. Mr. Ant didn't just fantasize about it, but worked hard towards his goal by regularly gathering material to renovate his home. Mr. Grasshopper, on the other hand, led a carefree life. He dreamed of building a new house, but unlike Mr. Ant, he didn't plan for his goal. SIP Tip 1. Start early and invest regularly. The two friends would always tease each other. Mr. Ant would tease Mr. Grasshopper about whiling time away, while Mr. Grasshopper would mock the hard-working ways of Mr. Ant. We'll see whose hard work pays off in the winter. My condo clock will be ready. Ha! I'll build my brand new mansion before that. With that, the two made a wager. But what Mr. Grasshopper did not know was that Mr. Ant had already implemented his plan to reach his goal. Mr. Ant was disciplined and regularly gathered calculated amounts of building material. This was easier too, as he only had to collect and carry reasonable amounts of building material every day. SIP Tip 2. Stay disciplined and invest for the future. It was late autumn when Mr. Grasshopper suddenly remembered his wager with Mr. Ant. When he checked his stockroom, he realized that he didn't have enough material to build his house. Not wanting to lose, he decided to try and gather all the building material all at once. If he managed, he'd have a new house much before Mr. Ant even started repairing his silly clockdominium. But, as luck would have it, all his hopes of building a new home were dashed, as he couldn't gather enough building material. Broken, he went to visit Mr. Ant, who, to his surprise, was putting the finishing touches on his brand new condo clock, complete with a terrace pool. SIP Tip 3. Invest the right amount. When Mr. Ant saw Mr. Grasshopper shivering in the cold, he let him move into his condo clock, and the two would go swimming every day. Mr. Ant was able to achieve his dream because he knew exactly how much building material he needed to renovate his home, and periodically gathered small amounts of material in order to reach his goal. And at last, Mr. Grasshopper realized his mistake, and he too started planning for his future systematically. Like Mr. Ant, you too can aim to make your dreams a reality by investing in mutual funds through systematic investment plans or SIPs. Start by identifying your goal and how much you would need to realize it. Then, determine the period for which you can invest, or by when you wish to reach your goal. Remember to invest calculated amounts regularly to help make your dreams a reality. By starting early, you can benefit from the power of compounding, the addition of earned interest to your principal investment, resulting in an increase of the principal each time interest is paid. What's more is that investing systematically does away with the stress of deciding the right time to invest, allowing you to average out the total cost of your investment over time. Always remember to make informed investment decisions and invest correctly. To know more about systematic investment plans, consult your financial advisor or visit www.icicipruamc.com/investcorrectly. ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund. Tarakki Kare. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.